79 band. Yeah.
Yeah, only with Vinny on drums.
Yeah.
It was when we were learning this stuff and writing all that kind of stuff, like I'm a Beautiful Guy and that whole batch of stuff. God, it was really great because all the people who had real good ears could learn stuff quickly by ear, and Frank would just, you do this and you do that, and let's try this, and just kind of throw it together real fast. Much faster than you can do on a synclavier. You can't tell. As great as a computer is, you can't just say, "Oh, play a Devo Cocktail Lounge piano version of this." Tommy Mars, you can tell that to him. He'll go, "Yeah, you mean like this? Yeah, that's it." And yeah, do that. Okay, now you do this. And it was great. I mean, it was the most. I think those kind of rehearsals, when Frank was really creative, was probably the most fun of the whole experience. I mean, more than playing live or anything, just that experience of like being part of, being his tool, I guess, to write music on, and to be able to then sort of contribute, put your own signature on it and contribute. That was great.
How about
scramble your brains? I'd go
your
home.
freedom as a bass player compared to the freedom that the other players get? What kind of, that's a question of an instrument in the band. What's your role and compared to other musicians in the context of Frank's music?
Well,
and now we are not only talking about
that's okay.
Guitar
That's okay.
solo.
We're up. Well, in guitar solos, you get, you have a lot of freedom. So, then sometimes he'd get mad and say, "Just play A." He thought I was playing too much stuff. But, which actually that resulted in that one on Show Up You Can Play Your Guitar called "Beat It With Your Fist." He said, "Just play A," and I said, "Oh, I got your A." And I just played as awkward as a rhythm as I could play just for the but like I say, the more time went on, the more kind of freedom I had, or that I took anyway. He didn't stop me, so I remember what's that song? There's a few of those songs on the. I keep thinking of that "You Are What You Is" period. There's some really great songs. Not the Meek Shall Inherit Nothing, but Heavenly Bank Account. I used to go just take it pretty far out in the bass department. So it would depend on the style of music too, the type of song.
And what I had in mind was the guitar solos where Frank and the drummer would, in this case Winnie Colaiuta, are like flying all over the place.
Yeah, just going.
So it's a bass player
Well,
only who has the sense of time and counting, coming to that first step one. So
well, you certainly have to keep track of that. The bass player I don't think ever had the same kind of freedom as the drummer. But on the other hand, I could, as a bass player, change things harmonically sometimes at will. I'd go to like relative major or minor keys and stuff and start to take it in a, different direction that way. It would vary. Sometimes, you feel like you need to just kind of hold it together by, playing a simpler part. And, it was kind of a cosmic thing. It's like you just kind of put your antenna up, and whatever feels like the right thing to do, you kind of go with it and, hope that it can all hang together. It was good, pretty challenging just keeping it the basics together, like with Vinny on drums especially.
Yeah. Did you, Frank gave any instructions before the concert in which he was going to play extensive solos?
Oh, no, you never knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
No. You pretty much count on the fact that he was going to play extensive solos pretty much every night, for the most part.
Yes,
I don't remember having too many short solos.
Afterwards, he was explaining all those things as well. His polyrhythmic concepts in his solos, and how should the band react to this.
Did he explain? No. It was always just, here we go. No, there was never any. Do you mean, did he say beforehand, okay, tonight I'm going to experiment with 7/5 polyrhythms, and you guys better watch out because when you hear those 7.5s coming, I want you to do this and that. No. Once you go into jam mode, it's like, here we go, and it's just everybody's driving their own car.
Afterwards, many drummers say that those solos and the rhythmic section sound so mathematical, like it's
well, that's
written beforehand.
No. Making it up as we go along.
Okay. One bass player said that you had a broad and solid sound. What make you stand out compared to other bass players in Frank's band? So, could you explain something about your sound? Is it because of your peculiar technique or ear or something? I mean, Tinseltown Rebellion is very warm and thick sound to have bass, and that goes also for shut up and play your guitar. They are very nice if you listen to the bass alone.
Well, thank you very much. I think a lot of it's in the fingers. It's just really in how you pluck the sound, how you attack the sound. I mean, my favorite bass player, of course, is Jaco Pastorius. He's the Jimi Hendrix of bass. There's no getting around that. And so I use the same kind of basic technique he does in terms of, I play a jazz or a jazz style bass, and with my thumb on the treble pickup and playing with my fingers for the most part, although I switch back and forth with the pick and the fingers a lot too. I think on those recordings you're talking about, actually I was using this bass that belonged to Mark Pinsky. It was Frank's engineer at the time, also a bass player, and he had it was a jazz bass. I can't remember now. Some kind of nice pickup on it. My bass that I had a stock jazz bass, and it made too much noise on stage when we turned on the lights. It sounded like a lawnmower coming out of the PA. So Mark asked me if I would play his bass, and I liked it, so I played that one. It didn't sound like a lawnmower coming out of the PA.
So that's a story.
Yeah, but in the studio though, I always use my own stuff. I think, but I think it's in the fingers a lot. I think it's really in how you play it.
Did you when you referred to Tom Fowler, what did you learn from him?
Well, he just gave me a few real good tips about, if you're doing licks where you have to change position, to just to be really aware of the time and not to lose any time when you're doing those quick jumps from one position. It has to be like instantaneous speed of light, just so and emphasized the importance of the time. And he showed me a couple of interesting rhythmic exercises and finger exercises, and just kind of intensity. He's a real intense guy. I just took a couple of lessons from him, when I first moved out here. But I always just admired his playing. I liked the precision of it. I liked his sound.
And his example taught you that bass can be played also in unison with those tricky melody lines.
Yeah, just that it is possible for a bass player to play stuff besides just the simple-minded stuff. Even in bands at the time that were fusion bands that were hot shot stuff, like John McLaughlin, Intermountain Flame at the time. Nothing against his bass player; he was a good bass player, but the other guys would play all the complicated shit, and he would play kind of easy parts that went along with it mostly. And Tom Fowler was the first guy I ever heard, go beyond that. I mean, he's a Fowler, they're great. They're all great musicians. I mean, Bruce and Walt and Steve and even Ed, his little brother, is a great bass player. They're mutations like Vinny or something. He's got that brilliant time. Tom has great time.
What were the most challenging things you had with Frank?
Most challenging things with Frank? Let's see.